shiny on the top of my head. Hi, everybody. Happy to have you along with me here in the kitchen. Make sure oops. Oh, my phone is rotated. Okay. All right. I hope that everybody's doing well. It is Thursday, so we're back in the kitchen. And today I'm going to make some, this is a really super simple recipe. Hi, Gator, how are you doing? I'm going to make some lamb chops. I'm going to do them Italian style. I love lamb. We didn't have it a lot growing up as a kid because it was not one of my father's favorites. Hey, Mar. And I know I've got a couple of folks, some stalwart, diehard friends who were like, I can't do it, lamb. I had a pet lamb, as one person told me, cardinal. And I forgive you, it's fine. And I am going to make some vegetarian stuff down the road. I promise you, my mother's. Hey, Reed, you gave me a great idea. We do have to do the eggplant parmesan. So Reed, my nephew, in fact, we're going to have to figure out how we can split the screen. I'll have you on, and you can help me do that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a beautiful, and this is sort of a crime in and of itself. I like to roast a rack of lamb. I got this beautiful lamb from Crown Meats. My buddy Glenn Olivier and his team over at Crown, they're distributors of Fulvio sausage, full disclosure, so I have a great working relationship with them. And if you need prime meats, great product. They're local guys, and they put out the very best. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, and I talked to the newsroom about doing this story. Hey, Reed, my nephew. The restaurant industry has obviously taken it on the chin and continues to do so. Even with outdoor dining, takeout, and even when we're allowed at 25% capacity, they're hurting. But so are all of the people who provide all of this great produce. Hello, Richie Fano. And all the great meats and other supplies to our restaurants. The folks like Crown Meats, the folks like Ingrassi Brothers, the folks like our local farmers who provide all the local produce. So any way you can support them, please try to do so. And Crown, I said, hey, I need some rack of lamb. And they said, no problem. Come on down. They got a beautiful New Zealand rack of lamb. Now, of course, I needed enough to grill tonight because I wanted to marinate that. But I also wanted to show you the process. And you know, it's a real simple marinade. It's pretty easy. But lamb can be done so many ways. There are... Richie wants to be in the video. I've never tried that. Hi, Linda. So, lamb, you could do, Greek lamb. You can do the lamb with the mint jelly. You can do a nice crust, herb crust on it, and bake it in the oven and do a baked a rack of lamb. What I'm going to do is, and I'm going to show you, and if you're squeamish, I'm just going to warn you now. We're going to, Johnny Ruck, my brother-in-law, pardon me, I'm still struggling with the allergies from the wind earlier this week. My brother-in-law's from Australia. This is New Zealand rack of lamb, so it's very closely related illness. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you how to take a nice rack of lamb and cut it into chops, and this is already Frenched, which means that they've taken most of the fat and that thick layer of fat off the back, and they've Frenched the actual bones, the ribs. So it's real easy to do this, but you've got to make sure that when you're cutting your rack of lamb into chops, if you want to do it like I'm going to do it, that you find that spot. Otherwise, you're going to dull your knife trying to cut through bone. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to reduce this rack, and then we're going to make the marinade. And I'm going to marinate this. We're going to marinate it, and I'm going to take it and have it with the family tomorrow. But tonight, I've already marinated some. I marinated it this morning. It's ready to go on the grill. And so we're going to eat that in just a little bit. I got the grill warming up. I spent all afternoon cleaning the grill. So you should be super impressed at how clean. And I'm also making some risotto back here, so I got to keep an eye on my risotto as well. But let's go ahead. And this is such an easy recipe, and you're going to get great flavor out of it. Hey, Glenn Olivier from Crown Meats watching. So what I'm going to do, and I got two really nice racks of lamb, and Glenn will probably kill me for cutting them up into chops, but that's what I did. And by the way, I am pleased to announce that it is finally cool enough to be bourbon season here in the Coachella Valley again. So after my flirtation with gin over the summer, I'm having a gentleman jack. Cheers, everybody. I hope that you guys are doing well. So what I want to do right now is just show you, if you want to do this at home, the thing I'm going to tell you is you need a very sharp knife, okay? It's really important. Let's see if we can get a better camera angle. Because you don't want to do this with a dull knife, and I don't want to cut my microphone cord either. So there you go. Hello, John Gordon. I see you, pal. Thanks for lunch. Nancy, Mary Furman's. All right, so here's our beautiful New Zealand rack of lamb. Gorgeous. And so we're going to turn around, and you can see where the gap is and what you want to do. And again, I sharpened this knife, and this has already been Frenched, so it's been beautifully clean. They did a nice job for me, and I don't want to cut myself here on live Facebook. We'll just take that little piece of fat off the end, and you want to do that. You want to clean it, especially if you're going to grill it, because this fat will catch on fire. So you want to be very careful about it. So you want to know where the gap is, and you want a nice sharp bone, and of course you want even chops. So, and I think I've got it right in the gap. There we go. And the other thing I recommend is keeping the chops nice and cool. So not frozen, but chilled. There we are. We're right in the gap. And that's what you want to avoid, is like cutting into the bone and dulling your knife. So we're getting some nice chops out of it. See how thick those are beautiful chops. So you just want to make sure where that gap is. And it really helps to get a rack that's already been Frenched like this, because it's so much easier. But if you go to your butcher, all right, so there's the bone. We want, see, that's a small gap too, so you gotta kind of know where it is when you start your cut. All right, there we go. Just a couple more, and again, for the squeamish at heart, I apologize, but to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. All right, we're almost there, and if my in-laws are watching, these are the lamb chops we will have over the weekend. All right, one more. And you can see the last one's a little thinner. Be real careful. This is a sharp knife, and yours should be very sharp too. All right, we got our chops. They are beautiful, okay? Look at that. Already cleaned up. They're going to be perfect on the grill. So we got 8 chops out of that rack, which is about right. All right, now hold on while I got to wash my hands here. And always, when you're handling meats, be sure that you wash your hands with warm soap and hot soap and water. We should be washing our hands a lot anyway because of the COVID situation, but especially when handling meats and other things in the kitchen, you always want to do that. All right. I hope I didn't drag the mic cable to it. All right, while we're doing, okay, so now those chops are ready to be marinated. First, though, I got to come back over here and work on my risotto. I got to put a little more liquid in there. So that's going to continue. I've got risotto going here, just nice and slow, because I'm going to serve the lamb chops over top of that. All right, I've got my beautiful lamb, and the way that I like to do this, let me bring you back up so I can see you guys. Okay. So, sorry if you guys are squeamish and you had to see me do that. So the best way to do this, get yourself a nice Ziploc bag, all right? We've got our chops. Now this is where the rack was, so I'm going to be careful. I'm going to have to wash my hands again, but we're going to throw the chops right back in the bag, like this. Okay, just that easy. There we go. We got our 8 chops back in the Ziploc bag, because we're going to make our marinade, and then we're going to just pour our marinade right into the Ziploc bag, and then you can just lay that down in your refrigerator for as long as you want to marinate the rack of lamb. I recommend with this marinade not to marinate it. I wouldn't do it overnight. This is a pretty potent marinade. We've got red wine. We've got a little balsamic vinegar. So, and lamb's not delicate, so it can stand up to that, of course. But I would really recommend doing it maybe just about 4 to 6 hours before you want to cook the lamb. It's great overnight, but remember that the longer you marinate it, the more of those flavors, especially that balsamic, is going to kind of sink in, and the balsamic is actually going to physically cook the meat. That's what the vinegar, the acidity of the vinegar does. And that's why it's great for tougher cuts of meat like London broil. You want a nice vinegary or citrusy marinade to break down the fats. But these chops are very tender. They're super nice, so you don't have to marinate that long. I put out a list of ingredients. If I forgot to say garlic, I apologize, I can't remember. So for this, and I'm going to put you right back down here so we can see what we're mixing up here. Oh, and I'm not wearing my usual, my buddy Richard Herbert got me this. I know it's backwards, but it says, it's what I do. I drink and grill things. So tonight, that's exactly what we're doing. Thank you, Richard, for the t-shirt. So I had to wear that instead of the Grill Father apron. All right, now we're going to make the marinade. It is very easy. It's very quick. So what we want to do, want something that's an emulsifier that's going to kind of stick to the lamb chops. So we're going to put in a half a cup of olive oil. All right. And it's okay. You don't have to be 100% exact. It can be a little more, a little less. That's no problem. Now, after a half a cup of olive oil, we're going to put in about a quarter cup of balsamic vinegar. And this is great balsamic vinegar. I get it where I get the olive oil. We get it at Costco. They're great for everything. Now, they're great. You know, you can go to the Real Italian Deli and they have some terrific boutique olive oils and also the balsamic vinegar. So we're going to do about a quarter of a cup. You don't want a lot more than that because, again, it is a powerful flavor. You don't want it to overwhelm the meat. So there we go. That's a quarter a cup of the balsamic. And another important thing that I like to put in there, about a half a cup of red wine. This is a Gainy Merlot that we didn't finish. So I'm going to use that. You know, you want a nice dry red. You can use anything that you like to drink. Anything that you would drink with lamb, a Cab or a Merlot. Pinot's probably a little light. So there we go. We got that. And now, we want a little rosemary. And I got some fresh rosemary. Johnny Ruck, it's a secret. Okay. I'm going to use some of these sprigs to dress the plate. But I'm going to put, you know what I'm going to do is just take the bag right here. So that's the marinade mix, but I'm just going to strip the rosemary and put it right in the bag with the lamb chops, just like that. And you're going to, you can get the, you know, this fresh rosemary at your store, wherever you shop, they have it. I'm just going to take a couple of sprigs. It is potent, it's powerful, it's a wonderful smell. I've got some dry rosemary just in case. I'll put that in the marinade, but I don't really think we need a lot because of the fresh rosemary. I'd say about a tablespoon, 2 or 3 sprigs. All right, we got that. Now, so we're going to top the chops with the marinade. I've got a couple of cloves of garlic. Not a lot. As you know, I'm not a big garlic guy, so we're going to put that in our marinade. The fun tonight is going to be going outside. The last time we tried that, I was grilling Italian sausage on a 120-degree day. It was so hot the phone quit. So tonight we're going to have a little better luck. I also like to put in, you can get some fresh oregano. I like oregano in just about everything I cook that's Italian. But that's really what sets this marinade apart. I'd say about 2 teaspoons, a couple of shakes, maybe a little more, but that's all right. And then, of course, fresh grated black pepper. Don't go overboard, but I like a little lamb with my pepper, so there we go. Don't want to over salt your marinade, but you want enough salt in there. All right, that looks good. Now we're just going to give that a stir. It is a very simple marinade, but big flavors. The red wine, the balsamic vinegar, which is tangy and yet a little sweet, which I love. All right, so now we've got the marinade ready to go. Here's our bag of lamb chops. And be careful not to spill it. Voila! Just like that. Get the air out of it. I gotta get better Ziploc bags. Make sure it's sealed because you don't want this leaking. Okay, that's sealed. And then this way, you can marinate, and you can see that the lamb, well, there we go, is covered, and that's what you want. You want all the chops to be covered in that nice marinade. And we're going to let that sit. I'm going to throw that in the fridge in just a moment. I'm going to save some of these sprigs because we're going to put them on the lamb when it's done. with the risotto that's going to be very nice. Hold on a second. Once again, I got to wash off my hands. So, again, super simple marinade. I wouldn't let it go much longer than about 5 or 6 hours unless you really love the flavor. Hello, Jennifer Hunt. How are you? Bridget, nice to see you. You can do it overnight. But you'll notice that your chops, even if you only cook them to a medium rare, which is what we're going to do, rare to medium rare, you will notice that the chops look like they're more done because the vinegar will actually start to. It's like sushi. When you get sushi, you know, the fish has been rolled in a little bit of vinegar. I think I don't eat it, but this is what they tell me. Maybe they're just telling me to try to get me to eat it. But the vinegar actually, you know, does part of the cooking process, and it breaks down some of the fats. It breaks down the connective tissues, so that's what makes it nice and tender. But again, these lamb chops are so butter tender, they don't need to marinate for a long time. But the more marination, obviously, the more you're going to get that infused flavor of the oregano, of the rosemary, and of that wonderful vinegar. I'm going to check on my risotto, and the risotto's coming along. It's going to need, so I'm making risotto, so I sauteed some shallots in olive oil. Then I put the rice into the olive oil, the arborio rice. You saute that around a little bit. And I'm going to need more chicken stock. So what you want to do is bring your chicken stock up to temperature as you add it into the risotto. So it's a slow process. And I sure hope that my guests get here soon so they can stir the risotto while I'm grilling the lamb chops. So we're just going to put our chicken stock and get that heating. Hello, Joanne Singer. How are you? So we'll let that heat up. If you're making risotto, you always want to bring it doesn't have to be to boil, but you want your stock, and we're going to add a little white wine to that too. Sandra, you're late. That's all right, because we're about to go grill. I've got my tools out there. Let me grab a platter. You guys are going to get a real tour today. All right. I got my platter for the finished product, and let's go out and check on the grill. I spent literally all afternoon cleaning the grill, so hopefully, I want you guys to take a look at this. This grill, it's pretty clean. It's pretty immaculate. It looks good. I don't want too much heat for my lamb chops because we don't want to overcook them. So, that grill is ready to go. Hello, Denny. Good to see you. We're just going to grill it. It's such a perfect night out here. It is so gorgeous. I want to check on my risotto, make sure it's doing okay. I'm going to have to add a little more liquid to that. And then we're going to go grill some chops, and I want you to see these chops because they've been marinating. They haven't been marinating overnight. I started this morning. So you're going to see what they look like after a little marinating. And it's quite nice. We got our little bistro table, the bistro lights. And now we're going to have some grilled lamb chops. All right. Grill is ready. I don't want to burn my mic cable. Tongs. And these are the beautifully marinated lamb chops. Now I want you to get a good look at those. They've been marinating, and the aroma's fantastic. Denny, you'll have to watch from the beginning of the video because I made the marinade at the beginning, but you'll be able to see it. It is red wine, balsamic vinegar, a little garlic, some rosemary, and a little olive oil. All right, so again, we don't want to overcook our chops. This is why you wear an apron. Hold on a second. I've got to grab a kitchen towel because I'm now covered with marinade. But these are so delicious, and it's so easy to do. And again, doesn't take long. You saw how fast we whipped up the marinade. You can marinate them for just a couple of hours, and they're going to be real flavorful when they're done. So, yes, the dogs are out. They're looking forward to lamb chops. I have not told them that they're not getting the lamb chops, but they will be bitterly, bitterly disappointed. Let's go up, and we're going to watch from this angle. Can we see the grill pretty good? All right. Let's just grill up some chops. I want you to see how pretty these are. And they're going to grill really fast. Really fast. So we're going to put these on and take them on. I got two that are stuck together, but that's okay. I can manage it. Here we go. Oh, that sizzle. There they are. These are beautiful chops, and again, I got them over at Crown Meat. My buddy Glenn took care of me. Guinness, it's okay. We're just grilling chops. You don't want them on long. Couple minutes aside. They're thin, and they're going to be delicious. Now, the olive oil in here is going to, you're going to see it flare up a little bit. You want to be careful about that. So watch them real close, okay? And I got plenty of marinade. I could have just used that on the next batch of lamb chops. I might add it in. They're covered with the marinade. That's the nice thing about the olive oil. It is going to, I don't want that lamb chop to burn. Let's bring her over here. There we go. So we're just going to cook them. I like them, there we go. I like them rare, but not everybody does. But never cook lamb past medium rare, because it's just the kind of meat that should be served rare or medium rare. I love those things on Facebook where it says, you know, how do you like your steak? And it shows, pardon me, all the different ways you can have your steak, like rare, medium, and then well done is crossed out and said, if you like your steak well done, we can't be friends. Well, if you like your lamb chops well done, I won't unfriend you, but it would disappoint me, and I'm not sure we can eat together. All right, let's get a closer view of the chops. It is so nice. The weather has turned out so beautiful. Sorry, I'm bumping the camera around. I just want you to see these. It's nice that it's not 120. High today was about 85. Oh, yeah. And you can tell just by how the chops feel, how done they're getting. Remember, on most grills, the back of your grill is going to be hotter than the front. So you want to be, Sean LaBelle, that's so funny. Medium rare, an aristocrat, from Goodfellas, of course. All right. You want them to caramelize up a little bit. I don't know, I'm just checking those. Now, the back of your grill is going to be hotter than the front. It's just the way grills work out. Most grills are that way. Every grill I've ever owned is that way. This one came with the house. And so I want to put my thicker chops in the back. And you don't want to move them around too much. I'm just doing that because I want them closer to the heat in the back. So, it's not going to take a long time for these things to be done, and we'll pull them off. And then I'm going to go stir the risotto. And the nice thing about this, and I'll tell you a story. So, always get more lamb chops than you think you need. And there's a reason for that. A couple of years ago, this was pre-COVID, we were going over to my in-laws' house, and they said, you know, just bring, everybody was bringing something. It was going to be a little mixed grill. I said, let's bring some lamb chops. They said, great, bring some lamb chops. So I put in 2 racks. Oh, see, that one's getting overdone. See, I told you the back of the grill's a little hotter, but you see how nice and caramelized that's getting? Oh, these are going to be fantastic. That is right. Oh, those are great. Look at those chops. I'll give you a closer view. So anyway, I put in 2 racks. My wife took one out. She said, we don't need that many. And I said, yes, we do. And we kind of, it wasn't an argument. We never argue. But ultimately, I snuck 2 racks of lamb out. I'm just going to, I know it's going to flare up because there's olive oil in there, but I just want to cover those with a little bit of our marinade. And remember, when you do that, to make sure they cook through, because that marinade was in, you know, the raw meat was in it. So you want to make sure that you get that up to temperature. You don't want to serve people. These chaps are coming along. So anyway, I made both racks of lamb. And as soon as we were ready to eat, I took them off, and we always feed the kids first. And the moment I put the lamb chops out, our youngest, Vesta, comes around the corner. She was 10 at the time. She comes around the corner, and she's literally got a lamb chop, 1 in each hand. And she just goes, har, har, and they're gone. I said, that's why you always get more lamb than you think you need. Because they're little chops. Everybody's, you know, an adult's going to eat 2 or 3 of these babies. They're going to be delicious. That one's coming along. Let's, oh, look at that. Now, come on. That's a perfect lamb chop, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just going to make sure that they're all nicely marked. That one's done. And, you know, my buddy Glenn over at Crown, we talked about it. He was like, oh, now we can get into some of the braised meats and some of the wintertime. And I said, Glenn, you're just going to have to come over and do some cooking with me. These are just about done. I'm going to pull them off. That's the only one that needs a little more. And so I told Glenn we're going to have to bring him in and let him do, because he's, you know, he did ribs and post them on Facebook, and they were fantastic. Just give that one a little more color. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. That lamb chop is done. That lamb chop is done. I'm just going to plate these up. I got to keep them warm because I got to finish the risotto before the guests get here. Oh, look at that. Now, I would recommend serving them right away, but I wanted to just go ahead and grill them up so you could see how they turned out. And that one's, there we go. Just like that. Always remember to turn your grill off. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go in where the light's a little better so you can see this. Get a look at these beautiful lamb chops in the daylight. Oh, those look fantastic. And they smell fantastic with all of those wonderful herbs and that balsamic vinegar. It is just a sight to behold. There you go. I got to check on the risotto. But that is lamb chops, Italian style. I recommend it. If you're feeding a crowd, get a whole bunch. They are super delicious. And these are going to be done just right. I pulled them off just in time. You don't want to overdo them. Anyway, that's our recipe. The marinade is there. If I put the list of ingredients and forgot garlic, and I probably did, please include that. I'll revise and post. And I will. I'm remiss. I'm running behind on posting on YouTube, but I'll get all of our recipes up on YouTube. Last week's, I know, isn't up yet. This will be up. But if you like lamb, you're going to love this preparation. It's a little bit different than the, you know, you can do Moroccan lamb chops, and they're really spicy and very different spices. You can do the Greek lamb chops, which are fantastic, and you can do it with the tzatziki sauce, or you can do it with the traditional, mint jelly. I like it with the Italian-style herbs and that balsamic vinegar. So, folks, salute, Chindan. Everybody stay safe, stay careful. If you are one of those folks who is going out on occasion, support our local restaurants and businesses because they really need it. And if you're staying home and cooking, just go to my YouTube channel for some great suggestions. Cheers. Have a great Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow morning on News Channel 3, of course, and also tomorrow afternoon for our Friday party on CV1043, Valley's Greatest Hits. Thank you all for tuning in. There's my father-in-law, Roland. You've had these lamb chops before. You know that they're pretty tasty. Thanks once again. Always a pleasure to have you in the kitchen. Someone's texting me, so it must be time to go. I'm going to go finish the risotto, and I got to saute some spinach, and then I'm going to serve up these delicious lamb chops. You guys have a great night. And like I said, go to my YouTube channel for some of the, it's Patrick Evans Cooking. It's easy to find. It's free. And there are a whole bunch of recipes there. And this will be there probably tomorrow afternoon. And of course, all of these recipes live right here on my Facebook page. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen and by the grill. And now that the weather's cooled off, we'll do some more grilling as the season progresses. You guys have a great Thursday and a great weekend. A happy Halloween. Everybody stay safe. And don't forget, you get an hour back this weekend. And so if you have a clock you need to set back, do so before you go to bed on Saturday night. Nice to have you here in the kitchen. See you next time.